I'm Emily, I'm a makeup amateur and a YouTube amateur, and welcome to my channel. If you missed the first part of this video, the link will be down below, but basically I'm talking about the makeup products that I've been using in the month of February. The first video covered cheek and complexion products, including blush, highlight, foundation, and primer. In this video, I'm going to talk about lip products. So far I've talked about a lot of Tarte products because I have a lot of complexion products from Tarte. I only have two lip products. So this one is a gloss that I received in a BoxyCharm a while ago. It's their Tarteist lip paint in the shade Flaming Hot. And this formula I'm not crazy about. I actually got one a while later that was a different shade of the same gloss. It was kind of like an orangey gold. I don't remember what it was called. And I actually ended up getting rid of that one just because the color was like, I really wasn't using it. I don't use this one that much either, but at least I liked the color a little bit better. It's a nice kind of like deep magenta raspberry, but it does sheer out a fair bit on the lips, so you can't really see it all that well. The most interesting thing about this, I think, is that there are little bitty blue sparkles embedded in it, so if you can see it really up close, you notice those, but generally speaking, you don't. This other one here is the Tarteist lip paint, which is like the matte liquid lipstick. It's the shade Bling. I got this one in that Tarte custom kit as well, and it is a really rich, really deep kind of berry shade. When you put it on, it kind of dries down even like darker than it looks in the tube. So that's a stunning shade. I really like the formula. It's very comfortable. I literally, just as I was sitting here, realized I actually have a mini of this formula as well in like more of a nude shade, and I forgot to include that in this month, so that's going to show up at some point in the future. Really annoyed at myself for forgetting that. I thought I was being so thorough, and I forgot anyway. I also have a bunch of Stila lipsticks in here. These are all their matte liquid lipstick. They're all the same formula, which is the Stay All Day liquid lipstick. So I have three that are full size and three that are minis. The minis all came in a set together, and I got each of these at different times. I think this one came in like a Sephora favorites kit, the full size one, which was kind of impressive. And then each of these two I either bought from BoxyCharm or I got in a BoxyCharm. So we'll start with this one. The Stila liquid lipstick is a really nice thin formula. So if you don't like wearing more like heavier, dry matte lipstick, then this one I would recommend for sure. Although with that, you're going to have the problem that sometimes it enhances your lip lines a little bit. This one is the shade Caramello, and I absolutely adore this. It's a very, very basic light nude. It kind of makes me look like I have concealer on my lips, but like a little bit nicer than that. It's got like just a very light hint of pink in it. This one is a metallic. It's a Patina Shimmer. This is really beautiful. It's like a mid-tone pink, but then the shimmer in it is kind of gold, so it just looks very like rich and very beautiful on the lips. This one is called Rubino, and it's like a very deep blood red lipstick. This is gorgeous, especially for like Christmas. The three minis, so I have one shimmer again and then two mattes. The first one is Sogno. So this is kind of a deeper nude than the first one, Caramello. It's a little more cool toned, which sometimes has the effect of almost looking gray on the lips, which isn't great, but I like that it's a very neutral shade. The other matte is actually Patina, so it's the matte equivalent of that other one, and it's kind of got a bit of a purpley hue to it, but it's a nice mauve pink. And then finally we have Nudo Shimmer, which is a more neutral shade, a hint of pink, and shimmery. Down in the next compartment here, I have mostly like bullet lipsticks or like lip crayons. So I have a whole bunch from TreStique. These are also pretty new to me, and I love TreStique's packaging because it's pretty fun and unique, except if I look at it at a glance, sometimes I get a little concerned that the lid to one of them has popped off and that they are just exposed. So these little crayons, the 6 of them came in a set. That I got fairly recently, I think, from a BoxyCharm add-on sale. It was like $6 or $9. It was great. So obviously there's 6 shades here. So there's like 2 that are on the nude side. There's 2 that are kind of in the red color family, Tuscan wine and chili red. And then there's 2 that are kind of in the berry shade. So this pinker one is called Barcelona Bright Berry, and then Belize Bordeaux is kind of a burgundy shade. I think out of the 6 of these, the one I would consider getting rid of is this Nantucket Nude, because there's just something about this that is just almost yellow. Like it's a pale beige peach kind of color, but when I put it on, it almost makes me look like sickly. Like I'm not a fan of the effect of this. I don't know if layering it under a gloss maybe might help, or kind of blending it with one of the other shades, but this is probably the one I'm least likely to wear. I generally don't wear red shades, but I wore the Tuscan wine one in a video I did recently, and I really liked how it looked. I'm always a little intimidated by red lipstick just because it's so easy to mess up, but this one came across looking really, really beautiful, especially on camera. So I'll definitely get more use out of that. I have a larger crayon from TreStique in here. This is like the full size one. And this is actually, these other ones are supposed to be a matte lip crayon, and this one has a different formula. So they're not really fully matte, I wouldn't say, because they're kind of a bullet lipstick. So they're still pretty creamy, but they do have less of a sheen to them than this one. This is the Prime and Color Lip Glaze. So at the bottom here, it has a little primer, which I think is freaking adorable. Like, it literally twists up and it's just this little nub of like white. And then you have the top part up here. So this is the shade English Rose. I got this ages ago in a BoxyCharm, and I think this one's absolutely gorgeous. This is what I'm wearing on my lips today. I did put the primer under it, and also I love that the lid is like a magnet close. I am wearing the primer under it today. I have started kind of wearing it without the primer because I noticed the primer actually completely changes the finish of the lipstick. So it's supposed to help it stay in place a little bit better, and it's also supposed to help moisturize your lips for a smoother application. But if you put it on over the primer, it kind of dulls down the sheen of the lipstick, and it's not like a fully opaque lipstick. Like, you can't swipe it on and expect it to be like fully opaque. It is more of like a glossy finish, but if you put the primer under it, it kind of mattifies that gloss a smidge, and it comes across as having a different effect on the lip. Now the color it's a very rich pink berry shade. My one complaint about it is that the tip is a little awkward. It's got a rectangular shape to it, and it's supposed to be so that you can be more precise, but I think the regular shape of a bullet lipstick, where it's like kind of the teardrop shape on the end, I think that does it just fine. You can use the pointed part to be a little bit more detailed, and then you can use the broader section to fill in. Whereas this, you kind of have to angle it a certain way, and it's just very awkward. I always feel like I end up going over the lines over here, and then I need to just be very, very careful filling in, especially right at the top of my lip. But other than that, I'm a really big fan of this one. I also have 3 Huda Beauty lip products. So these 2 came in a set. These are their holiday lipsticks. They're the powder, I think the formula is called Powder Matte. So these, I like the packaging because it shows the color. And it's just kind of a traditional bullet. It's a little bit squared off, which I think is an interesting choice. It is power because it has power stamped into the lipstick itself. This darker one is called Interview, and the lighter one is called Girls Trip. This one is actually very peachy, like it looks very warm and soft on the lips, and then the other one is a more brown, like richer sort of nude shade. I also have this Huda Liquid Matte. It's in the shade Trendsetter. So this one also came in, just like that Stila one, this also came in a Sephora favorite set I got a long time ago, and this is also full size. I love the like frosted glass finish on the bottle. I love that it's kind of a square but not quite, and it's a very rich nude. Like, I kind of had to work my way up to feeling confident enough to wear this, because on me it comes across I am suddenly Elmer Fudd. It comes across looking like a pretty dark of a brown. It wears a long time on the lips. Finally, I have 2 Jouer products in here. So one of these is a metallic lipstick in the shade Rose Gold. I'm sorry, metallic lip cream in the shade Rose Gold. The other is their sheer pigment lip gloss in the shade Via Condotti. So I bought both of these as add-ons. I think one was like FabFitFun and the other was BoxyCharm or something. I was a little bit surprised to find out that these are their full-size packaging, because like the tubes just look very small, and that could be an optical illusion because like the cap is usually longer. Like, if you held it up to the Tarte one here, it's more or less the same length, but the cap is just bigger. However, at one point I did look them up online, and I found out there's actually more in here than there is in a standard lipstick. So first, like, I would think the Stila one is a pretty standard size if you're buying a matte lipstick. This is actually 3 milliliters, and this one here is 6. And also, the full size of each of these cost less, so you're getting more product for less money. Thanks, Jouer. This one is a very, very metallic shade. Like, it's just kind of blinding. Like, it looks like metal on the lips. I don't wear a lot of metallics. I don't know why I bought a metallic if I thought it was just going to be like a light shimmer, like the Stila ones, as opposed to like a very bold liquid metal. However, I am in love with this gloss. It smells so nice. Like, I kind of want to eat it. And it says it's a sheer pigment gloss, but like this deep shade looks really pretty, even just on its own. Like, it's obviously not like completely opaque, but it just kind of turns your lips purple. No, it doesn't. It's not fully opaque, but it's definitely a lot more opaque than like the Tarte lip gloss I was talking about earlier. It has like this kind of effect that just makes your lips like look richer, look so full, look so glossy. And I'm a really big fan of the color as well.